Yo, in today's video, I gotta talk to you all about some of the most common mistakes I see everybody making here in Valorant, myself included, and the best means to correct them moving forward so that we can be best set up for success as we continue rocking and rolling. If by the end of this video you have found any value whatsoever, please do me the biggest favor in the world by liking the video to help me out algorithmically and consider subscribing. We have much more Valorant content in the pipeline from guides, gameplays, live streams, you name it, and I would love for you all to be a part of it. As I mentioned before, my goal is to become your one-stop shop when it comes to Valorant on console. Now without further ado, let's jump in and let's talk shop. Now today I have about six different mistakes I want to touch on in this video, and they're in no particular order, so don't believe that may be the case. I have some thoughts about some other mistakes that we often find ourselves making, but those will be for another video, okay? The first mistake I would love to discuss is full buying at the wrong times, or we can just summarize this as just ignoring economy management in an entirety, okay? I'm often seeing people blow all their money. I mean, yo, they're buying the bar in rounds where it would be much wiser to save or just have a little bit more thought in regards to what we're going to buy and what we're not going to buy. There are often matches where, look, we are in a dogfight. We win a round, they win a round. We win a round, they win a round. Now, if it's a sweep, go ahead, buy to your heart's content, you know? But if it's a match where, you know, again, we're going back and forth, you need to be much more meticulous in that approach. Oftentimes, I'm seeing people, once they see they have enough to cop a full shield, to go ahead and grab a Vandal, to buy all their util, they'll do it, and they'll be left with like 100 credits. And I'm just like, yo, there's no point for all 5 of us to be full buying in this moment, especially when we may lose this round. If we lose this round, guess what? We're not going to be able to full buy next round. We're all going to run around with sheriffs looking goofy, and we're going to lose that next round as well because they're going to be full stocked, right? So I would say the best way to go about this is really pay attention to what your teammates are buying, especially when you're solo queuing. Typically when you solo queue, comms may be limited. So again, pay attention to what your squad is buying. And this is what I do. Full transparency, this is what I do. If I see, again, we're in that dogfight and I see we have at least 3 Vandals on our team, and I know for a fact if I do a full buy, I'm only going to have like a grand or less of remaining currency, then what I'll do is I may just half buy, right? I may get my util, grab a full shield, and then I'll grab a sheriff because I know for a fact, because I've been really paying attention, I know for a fact in middle, or, you know, if I'm using Abyss as an example map, I know in library, if you want to call it library, I don't know what people call it. People call it mid-library, hallway, whatever. But let's say our teammates trade out, right? Boom, my teammate goes down, the opposition goes down. There's going to be a free Vandal or a free weapon upgrade in general that I'm going to have the opportunity to grab. So why would I spend money, you know, on that round when I can save so that if we happen to lose the round, I'll have enough money to be able to pretty much full buy that following round, right? So I can rock the Vandal where my teammates may have to save a little bit. They may cop Spectres, Sheriffs, whatever the case may be. So we can at least always have 1 to 2 Vandals in play. You know what I mean? So now the squad can lean on me to go ahead and get those 1-taps. Maybe I get the opportunity to trade out, and if I go down, my teammates can pick up my Vandal, so on and so forth, right? If all of us are buying Vandals every single round and we find ourselves trading out back and forth, or excuse me, trading rounds back and forth, there's going to come a point in time where we are not going to be able to cop Vandals and Phantoms or full shields. We'll have to go half shields, things of that nature. And the more you have to do that as a team, the more of a disadvantage you're going to be at. So I would really encourage you all to communicate with your team, right? Communicate with them, you know, get on the mic, see who's buying what, see what's going on there. Or if you don't want to get on the mic, just pay attention to see what your squad is buying. If you see them, again, buying everything, then you know, okay, let me play this a little bit more conservative. I may play back here a little bit. So I know if they put somebody down on the opposite team, I can pick up their Vandal, their Spectre, their Phantom, and now I'm fully kitted and I have the opportunity to save money in case we don't win that round, you know? Also, something else to really pay attention to, and you'll see it right underneath your character, I guess, banner when you are buying, you'll see the minimum amount of money you will make that next round. So after you've bought everything you wanted to buy, really pay attention to that. If you buy everything you wanted to buy and you see at bare minimum you're going to make, you know, 3K back that next round, you may say, okay, let me take a step back here. Maybe I don't need a full buy here. Again, my team is already kitted up with Vandals and Phantoms and everything. man, I'm just going to opt for a sheriff this round. I'm going to opt for a sheriff. I'm going to have that great crosshair placement. I'm going to catch somebody crossing, put them down, pick up their weapon. Now I'm fully kitted. Or one of my teammates goes down, I pick up their vandal, you know, and I'm still in the fight. Whatever the case may be, again, really pay attention to your economy and just play with intent and thought. The second mistake I see often is people spamming their abilities like there's no tomorrow with absolutely zero purpose. Using your ability without considering their impact or if they're even necessary in that moment in time is complete foolery. I gotta be honest there, it just is. I'll give a perfect example here. I was in a game, I want to say a few days ago, and I was playing with the Fade. Bless their heart, whoever this individual is, I hope you continue practicing, okay? I truly hope you do. And as this individual was running Fade, this Fade at the beginning of the round would burn all their util. They literally would drop their, I'm gonna just call it totem for lack of a better term, right? They would drop their totem, they would ping 2 people so we have a great idea of where the opposition is set up, and then they would send their little ghost doggies out, literally both of them back to back, right? Just burning util, right? We already have enough information to at least know where 2 individuals are, right? We can pretty much guesstimate where everybody else is going to be popped up at, or when we know we're actually going to swing as a team, right? When we know we're going to push in to take over site, then you use one of the dogs, right? Because it's either going to blind somebody or it's at least going to draw them out. It's going to draw their gunfire. So again, we have a good idea of where that other individual may be so we can put them down, right? Like again, use those things sparingly and don't just cluster them all together because it's a waste. Why use those 2 dogs right after you use your fear totem thingy? I can't remember the exact term for it, but after you use that, after we already connect with 2 people, so we know we put down these 2 people, we know where they're at. Put down these 2 people, we have easy entry to site. We can plan it's a 5v3, right? Because those other 3 enemies, they're going to drop back. They're going to drop off site and play for retake. At least I would hope they would. If not, we're going to be able to fly them and we're going to trade out and win the round. Either way you slice it, you know? But ultimately, again, like burning your util right then and there with no intent, come on now. So as you're setting up for a round, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you with whatever character you're playing, whether if it's Fade, whether if it's Sova, Brimstone, Omen, I don't care who you're playing. I want you to ask yourself the question, is utility necessary at this exact moment in time? Do I have enough info to be able to make this play, to enter the site, to retake the site, whatever the case may be? If the answer makes you think, more times than not, no. Don't use that util. Only use that util when it's deemed necessary, because there are so many times and there's so many occasions where you actually need to use the util and you no longer have it because you burned it in the first 10 seconds. So let's just be a little bit more meticulous with our approach, shall we? And the last thing I want to say about this is just a little bit of a sidebar. It's going to be trial and error at first when you're playing with a new character or a new agent that you never have played with before. Like, I'll use myself as an example. I've never used Sova, never. I didn't want the responsibility, but as of late, I've been utilizing Sova more. I make a ton of mistakes with Sova's recon dart. I make a ton of them, but it's trial and error. Once I make that mistake, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a terrible like that just made no sense for me to do that. So I just don't make that mistake again. I recognize it and I learn from it and I say, okay, I'm not going to try to do a recon dart. That makes no point. There's no point for me to do that. I know the opposition is there, or I know nobody's going to be there. That's just a poor dart. Or, oh man, that's a great dart. I'm going to do that every single round until somebody stops me. It gives me a ton of info. You know what I mean? So again, make the mistakes, that's totally fine, but you are just wasting your time if you aren't actively trying to learn from them. The third mistake that I do see often, and it's kind of unfortunate because I think we all succumb to this at times, is not checking every corner or clearing every angle. You know, running into an area without clearing it first is like the easiest way to get put down, because if you think somebody's not there, 9 times out of 10 that individual is going to be there. So be sure to always check common hiding spots, angles, and make sure you clear everything. Now, this may be one of those instances where you will use some of your util to just clear that area, right? And I'll use Sky as an example. If you're pushing onto a site and you need to find out if somebody's in that site, you may go ahead and send, what is it? Is it a hawk? Yeah, she says hawk out, right? It's not an eagle, it's a hawk, whatever. You send your blinding bird out, for lack of a better term. You know you get that audio cue when you blind somebody, Sky says blinded. So you have an idea, okay, the opposition is on this point. If you do not hear that, more times than not, somebody may not be there or they may not be looking and they're just doing a really good job of hiding. So again, using your util in moments like that is totally going to be fine, and it's going to give you more information. So as you clear corners, as you clear those hiding areas, you can be best set up for success and you can get the jump on somebody if needed, you know? So again, it all comes down to experience and being able to learn from your experience, right? Be intentional with every single match you play. Learn the maps, the ins and the outs, the off angles, common hiding areas, and then of course, adjust accordingly so again, you can get the jump and you can succeed. The fourth mistake I got for you all, and this actually builds off of mistake number 3 here, it's over peaking, okay? The best way to define over peaking is when you overexpose yourself, right? When you are exposed from multiple angles at once. The best way to correct this is to make sure you are always near some form of cover in some capacity, or you have some type of utility that can get you out of that funky position, right? So if I'm rocking Yoru, then I want to make sure I have a TP where if I do find myself over peaking, the moment I find myself in a compromised position, I can TP out, you know? But even if you are rocking Yoru, that can be a little bit tricky just because it does take a moment before his TP to activate, you know? So again, making sure you're holding angles, you're holding cover so that if you do see somebody and they start to shoot, you can strafe back behind cover. Maybe you are behind cover that can get shot through, so you are still getting hit a little bit, but at least you have the opportunity to survive, because you know if you can survive and you can swing back out at some point and you land one bullet right to the temple, it's going to put them down, you know? Valorant is that type of game. So let's make sure we do not overpeak, we do not overextend, and we always play off of cover so that we can continue to succeed, live to fight another day, and be able to have the best opportunity to win that round. Let's talk about mistake number 5 here, okay? Mistake number 5 is just simply not adapting to the opposition, okay? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results, you know? So if you keep crouch peeking or you keep slow peeking that off angle because you think, man, this is going to be the round. I know the last 5 rounds I've done this, that chamber was right there waiting on me, and every single time I did it, he headshotted me and I went down. But this 6th time, man, this 6th time is going to work. If you are thinking like that, my friend, I am sorry to tell you, you may have a bit of insanity between the ears. Truth be told. In an instance like that, by the 2nd time that's happened, right? Let's say you went ahead and you slow peek that angle, you get put down, you did it again the 2nd round. Okay, by the 3rd round, you need to be finding a way to be able to win that gunfight. And let me tell you, it's not going to be slow peeking that off angle. Use utility, smoke that chamber out, you know, take a soft flank to where you can set that chamber up off an off angle and you could put the chamber down, right? Like, start to get the wheels turning there, because again, Valorant is a game of chess, and if you continue to play checkers while they're playing chess, you will stand no chance, right? So I would say after the 2nd time, there's a consistent behavior and you find yourself losing that as a result of it, get the wheels turning. Think, okay, how can I best navigate this situation so I can win our next encounter? The more you do that, the more you communicate that with your teammates as well. Let your teammates know what you're doing. Hey, I'm a soft flank this right here through mid. Nobody's through mid, and they just keep blocking up at A strong. They got Killjoy on B, so taking B is difficult. Whatever the case may be, I'm a soft flank A. I'm gonna have a great off angle. I should be able to put down 1, maybe 2. If I can't take the 2nd person down, we'll at least trade out. I'll get put down. You guys will be able to put down that 2nd person. Hey, we'll be able to, you know, take over A, wipe everything out. By the time that Killjoy rotates, it's going to be a 4v1. We're going to win that round, squad. You know what I'm saying? So again, we want to make sure that we are always striving to adapt. And again, you want to be paying attention to every single pattern that the opposition is making. Sometimes they're just crazy and they're not making any patterns at all. In that case, you got to do what works best for you, and you have to set a precedent to see if you can establish a pattern with them, you know? And the 6th and final mistake we'll talk about today in this video is overcommitting to gun fights, you know? Engaging in those fights that there is a 0% chance you are going to win. Let me give you all an example here, okay? Let's pretend I'm a Sage, right? And I'm holding down B site all by myself for whatever reason. And the opposition just hard pushes that B site. Like, it doesn't matter. I put a wall up. I try to slow them. I'm commenting to you all, hey, they're flying B. They're flying B. They're flying B. You You all are trying to rotate, but I'm just sitting there trying to hold down B. There's no way in the world I can handle a 5v1 situation in that regard. Right now, of course, there are 1v5s or 5v1s that do happen when you can separate each gunfight into a 1v1. You can win that, get the ace, you flexing and all that good stuff. But when the opposition has full util, like they're lock and loaded from a weapon standpoint, do I really think I'm going to be able to hold down B by myself? Heck no. So what I need to do in this instance, yeah, I can wall out, I can slow them with my slow orbs, but I'm getting the heck off of B. I'm gonna drop back off of B. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back like to my spawn area. They can take B. And guess what? They take B. We're going to play for the retake, and we can play for the retake 5v5 because my squad has full util. Yes, the opposition still has some util to spare as well, but again, my team is with me. Now we can game plan this retake and we can make it happen. You know what I mean? You're going to be in such a better position in that moment versus if you tried to stand on site and be a superhero, because let me tell you, it's just not going to work. You're not going to be the superhero in that moment, especially with like a Sage, Killjoy, maybe you have a greater chance, but still, you're going to get overwhelmed at some point and they're going to wipe you out. Now your team has to play the retake in a 4v5 situation, which is still winnable, but it just would be so much better if it was a 5v5 situation. You know what I'm saying? So don't overcommit. It's okay to back off and just play for the retake. Trust me, trust me, trust me. You can play for the the retake and still win that round. And folks, that's what I have for you all on today. I truly, truly, truly hope that you found this video valuable. If you did, again, before heading out, be sure to have liked the video. Be sure to have hit the subscribe button. Feel free to comment anything you like down below. I love you all. Thank you all so much for coming and watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.